Now this is a multiverse movie done properly. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. So, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once basically follows Michelle Yeoh's character, who's going through a bit of a crossroads in her life right now. She runs a laundromat, was going through some financial issues, and at the same time though, she's facing problems in her mind, and she has a complicated relationship with her daughter, and she also has a complicated relationship with her father, who she's taking care of. But in the midst of all this happening, basically, she ends up running into an alternative version of her husband from a different universe. And then this alternative version of her husband tells this version of Michelle Yeoh's character from this universe that she is the only person who can stop this terrible thing happening to the multiverse. And so for the course of the rest of the movie, Michelle Yeoh's character in this universe's version of Michelle Yeoh's character has to channel all the different versions of her characters from all the different multiverses in order to stop this terrible thing happening before it's too late. And that's basically my version of the plot for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And honestly, I really liked this movie. I found it really enjoyable, and I also found it quite emotional as well, because it taps into quite a lot of, underlying themes in the film, which work really well. Themes of, the relationship between a parent and their child, and the relationship in this case, in this film, it's a relationship between the mother and the daughter, which works really well, and actually made me a bit emotional towards the end of the movie, which I really didn't expect to. And also, it taps into those themes of dealing with past disappointments and how they make you who you are today. And again, that was a really powerful theme in the film, in my opinion. And I really liked the film because I believed in the characters, I believed in their relationships, and that was the thing which really made it work for me. Like, got all these fantastical elements going on in the movie, and these action sequences which are really fun to watch, but in the end, the film comes down to the human characters, their relationships, which I really, really believed in, and which I really dug, and which kind of made me emotional as well, and I didn't expect it to, and yeah, that's when the film works. But at the same time, though, it's a lot of fun to watch, and it's bonkers, and it utilised the multiverse in the way that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness didn't. Honestly, I've come up with a new name for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I've come up with the name of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Meandering, because man alive, that is a boring film. I do not like using the phrase boring, but I'm going to use it in relation to Doctor Strange 2 because I really struggle with that movie. But the thing is with Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which by the way is a great title, but the thing is with this movie is it utilises the multiverse in fun, exciting ways. This is the Multiverse of Madness. This is what Doctor Strange 2 should have been. Honestly, it's crazy in terms of multiverse, it's funny in multiverse, exciting in the multiverse ways, and also it's quite emotional sometimes in its multiverse concept, and I really, really like that about this movie. This is what Doctor Strange 2 should have been. But the thing is though, this movie is far superior than Doctor Strange 2. This is by far, and I mean by far, the best multiverse movie of the year. Honestly, it really is. Like, Doctor Strange 2, whether you like that or not, that's fair enough. But I can assure you now, this movie does more with the multiverse than Doctor Strange 2 ever did, regardless if you like Doctor Strange 2. This movie does so much more with the multiverse, which is another reason I really, really liked it, because it was just completely bonkers, and it was just so weird, but in the way the multiverse should be. This does new things with the multiverse. The multiverse is a concept that we've seen in other movies like Doctor Strange 2, but the thing is, Doctor Strange 2 doesn't do anything new with it. It's like, oh, we're going to go into different worlds. Why? Because multiverse. In this movie, they go into different worlds because it's key to the plot, it's key to the narrative, and it moves everything forward in fun and exciting ways. Honestly, the multiverses which you see in the film are so much fun to watch. Like, there's this multiverse where basically everyone rocks. Everyone is a rock because human life can't be created in that world, so everyone is a rock, and it's just a really, really funny sequence in the movie where you see that. But also there's this multiverse where basically everyone has sausages in his hands, and again, that's really funny to watch. And also there's this multiverse where basically Michelle Yeoh plays a version of herself. She's this big movie star, and you see what her life would have been like if she didn't work with the laundromat where we first meet her early on in the film. And also there's this multiverse where basically Michelle Yeoh's character is a chef, and then that kind of taps into Ratatouille, And if you've seen the film, you know exactly what I'm going on about there. But again, that's another really funny part of the movie. And also, there's loads more multiverse in the film that I'm just not talking about. But there's like endless possibilities in this movie. This is what Doctor Strange should have been. It really is, which is why I really liked it. And I know I'm going about Doctor Strange 2 a bit, but that's a recent multiverse movie, which I saw as well. But I can't get over how superior, how far superior this movie is over Doctor Strange 2. They both deal with multiverse, that's why I'm comparing both of them. And this movie is so much better because it's bonkers, it's funny, it's exciting, and it really does fresh and new things with the multiverse, which you just really didn't expect. And then seeing all these different versions as well, and you know, it really makes the underlying themes in this film that much more powerful when they come back later on. Like, this is a whole underlying theme which I mentioned earlier in this video, which is all about, you know, Michelle Yeoh's character dealing with her past disappointments and how they made her who she is today. And then you find out, though, in a different universe, that she didn't end up with her husband, and now she's this big movie star. And it's this really interesting story, like what could have been. And I really loved that part of the movie. I really did, because I was surprised again by how emotional it was and how much it made the big finale of the film that much more powerful. But also, there's loads of funny multiverses in the movie, loads of funny different universes, like I said before, you know, the universe where everyone has sausages as hands, and that's a really funny part of the film. And also the universe where basically everyone is a rock, because human life can't be created in that world, and that's another really funny part of the film, which again made me laugh out loud because it kind of used subtitles in its own special way. And that's another thing about this movie, it's special, it's unique, it's distinctive in all the right ways. There's not another movie I can think which is like this, much like The Northman. I remember coming out of The Northman going, wow, that film is like unlike anything I've ever seen before. And I had the same reaction to this movie as well. I came out of the movie like, that was unlike anything I'd ever seen, and anything I bet I'm going to see for the rest of the year, or the next couple of years. I don't know, people might try and cash in on this idea now, but, you know, the Daniels, the directors of this movie, these are people who really thought, you know, we can do something special with this idea, we can do something unique. Because I might be wrong here, and I might be, you know, misremembering my information, but I remember a couple months back when I think this film first came out in the USA, because bear in mind, the film first came out in the USA like a couple of months ago, and I live in the UK, so I had to wait a while to actually see the movie, which was a bit annoying because I heard so many good things about it, and I had to wait a while to see it. When the film first came out in the USA, and the Daniels were doing touring for the movie, or the directors were doing touring for the movie, they basically said that they decided to do this over directing all 6 episodes of Loki Season 1. And I like Loki Season 1. That does something quite interesting in the multiverse, can embrace his identity. I enjoyed Loki Season 1. I didn't think it was anything brilliant, but I enjoyed it. But I can see why they chose this idea, honestly, because they're so weird in their humour, and you can really tell that they have a grasp on what they're doing. You can tell they have a vision for this film, and that's another reason it works. The direction is brilliant, and you're watching so many sequences going, how did they do that? How did they stage that? How is that being editing in such a way which is just so powerful, but just so simple at the same time? It's things like that which make this film different, which make it stand out. It's just so different, but just in the best way. You're watching, God, how are they doing all this? How are they changing genres, but not making it feel jarring? And it's all down to these directors called the Daniels. And I must admit, I don't really know their work. I know they directed a film called Swiss Iron Man, which I may go and watch now because I really enjoyed this movie. I may go and check that out sooner rather than later now. But the thing is, though, yeah, I don't really know their work. I haven't seen Swiss Army Man, so this is my first introduction to the Daniels as filmmakers. But, wow, they've got a bright future ahead of them, because they really had a vision in this film, and just the way everything comes together, and the way it's so coherent as well. Like, this film should not be coherent. It should be incoherent. In the same way Doctor Strange was. Doctor Strange was a big incoherent mess. But the thing is, though, this film isn't. And that just shows you that the multiverse idea can be done well, and it can be done in an exciting way, and that it doesn't need to be messy. If you make the film as long as it needs to be, like I always felt Doctor Strange 2 was a bit too short as well, because like 2 hours, whereas this movie is like 2 hours and 20 minutes. You know, if you make the film as long as it needs to be, then you can triumph in your way of executing the multiverse, and that's what they do. I'm not going to go on about Doctor Strange 2 again, really, but I can't get over how Doctor Strange 2 failed to utilise the multiverse so much, but how this movie, you know, cashed in it in just the best way possible. It really did. And it just, yeah, I can't get over how much I enjoyed it, how bonkers it was as well, and how daring it was. Like, there's parts of the film which you think are going to be like a little gag, but then it ended up being something really funny and really emotional, and it's just, yeah, it's a real one-of-a-kind movie. I can't really talk. I find it hard to talk about why I like this movie, because it's unlike anything I've ever seen. It really is. Another reason for that was because it was so overwhelming. Honestly, this isn't kind of one of my criticisms of the movie, but I went into this movie not really knowing what to expect. Like, I'd seen the trailer of this movie, and the past couple of times I went to the cinema, and I must admit, the trailer didn't really do much for me. But when I was watching the cinema, the film really worked for me. The thing is, like, I didn't really know what to expect. It was quite overwhelming to see people going, wow, this is completely different than what I really expected as me. Like, I didn't know what to expect. But at the same time, though, I thought it was going to be like a fun action sort of adventure movie. I don't know, just something kind of like Doctor Strange 2, but better. That's what I thought it was going to be. Wow, it's completely different. It really is. And it just, I don't know, it was a bit overwhelming, I've got to admit. And I'm going to go watch the film again for a number of reasons. Because, first of all, I didn't have the best cinema experience for the first half of the movie, because I went to go watch in a cinema that I don't usually go to. Like, my local cinema, which is only like 20 minutes away from me, wasn't actually showing the movie, annoyingly. So I went to a cinema which is like an hour and a half away from me, and it's a cinema I don't usually go to. Been there in the past, it's not bad, but it's not great either. And I went there, and there was a group of people in front of me, 2 rows down, who in the first 20 minutes got up and got to go and get drinks. In the first 20 minutes of the film, I'm like, why did you do this on the ads? I don't know. But then, about 40 minutes into the movie, they just left. But they all just like stood up for like 10 minutes and talked about why they were going to leave. So it was really distracting. And that was really annoying. And then these people next to me were talking. They weren't really next to me, like 2 seats away from me. But they were talking through quite a large portion of the movie. And then they sort of left halfway into the film, about an hour and a half into the film. I was like, what? What are you doing here in the first place? But anyway, yes. Yeah, so I probably need to go and see the film again, just because I didn't have the best cinema experience. But I really enjoyed myself in the second half of the film in the cinema, because I had a much better experience, because people weren't there. But at the same time, though, it was a bit annoying in the first half, so I will need to go and see the film again. But that didn't hugely affect my viewing. I've had bad experiences in cinema before, like when I went to go and watch Spider-Man No Way Home. Loads of people had their phones out in the cinema, and I still ended up really enjoying that film. So, you know, it's neither here or there about the bad cinema experience, and I did still enjoy the film nonetheless. And also, if I'm staying on this topic of criticisms, this film does sometimes feel like it's a bit too weird for its own good. Like, sometimes it gets really weird. Like, there's one style in the film which didn't really work for me, like when you see Michelle Yeoh's character, a different version of Michelle Yeoh's character in a different multiverse, in a different universe, should I say, where basically she's got this really powerful pinky finger, and it was to be like, just that part didn't really work for me, and that's like a small moment in the film, but there's just a couple moments like that when it just felt like too zany and too weird for its own good. And I don't know, maybe when I watch it again, I'll enjoy it a lot more, because I will be watching it again, because actually the film is shown at my local cinema this Friday, so I'll probably go and watch it over the weekend, or sometime next week, or something like that. So yes, I will go and watch the film again, and hopefully I enjoy it a lot more. Hopefully it doesn't feel too weird for its own good next time. But in the end, that was only a small portion of the film which kind of felt like that for me, because I did really enjoy it, and that says a lot, because, you know, there's a lot of martial arts sort of fighting sequences in the movie as well, and I must admit, I'm not a big fan of martial arts cinema. It's just not really for me. Like, I'm not really a fan of Hero, I'm not really a fan of Crouch Tiger, Hidden Dragon either, and I wasn't really a fan of Shang-Chi, which obviously like the big commercial which came out the past couple of years and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of martial arts cinema or wuxia cinema, things like that. It doesn't really work for me. It's just a personal taste. But in this movie, I actually really enjoyed the martial arts fighting sequences, which I think says a lot about the film. And also, I think the performances are absolutely fantastic. Michelle Yeoh is brilliant in this film. Honestly, she is so good. I haven't really seen her much. I can only remember she had a small part in Shang-Chi, didn't she? Yeah, she had a small part in Shang-Chi. And I quite enjoyed her as a Bond girl in Someone Never Dies as well. But I haven't really seen her in much. But she is so good in the movie, and you instantly believe in her character in the opening seconds of the film, which is no reason the themes were so powerful in the end, because you believe in the characters. And I think that says a lot about the film, especially with an actress which you've seen in other movies, and then you watch this film, it's like, wow, she's great, she's absolutely brilliant, she makes the character instantly believable. And also, on the topic at the start of the film, by the way, and I will get on to some other performances, but on the topic of the start of the movie, it actually kind of reminded me of Paul Thomas Anderson's Punch Drunk Love. Like, in the first 20 minutes to half an hour of Punch Drunk Love, you introduce the character Adam Sandler plays, and it's done in such a way where you're thrown into the scene, and that same thing happens here, and I was really liking that. Honestly, I was watching the first 20 minutes to half an hour of the movie thinking, wow, this is reminding me of Punch Drunk Love, but not in a bad way whatsoever. Honestly, I think Punch Drunk Love is brilliant. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And so it was reminding me of that movie in this film, I was really happy about that, because I love Punch Drunk Love, and I think the opening of this movie owes a debt to it, but not in a bad, and I really like that about the film. But anyway, continuing on the performances, Ke-Huy Kwan, who plays, you know, Michelle Yeoh's husband in the film, who many people might know as Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and also Data from the Goonies, he is in this movie, and he's fantastic. And also, I might be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure this is his first role since playing Data in the Goonies. And he's so good though. Like, he's unbelievably good. And you believe in that character so much. And again, it's on the whole thing of believability, where you believe in those characters and it makes those relationships work that much better in the film. Honestly, it really does, and it really makes you buy into the relationship between his character and Michelle Yeoh's character, and he's just so good in the movie. But also the one who plays the daughter is great in the movie as well, and the one who plays, you know, Michelle Yeoh's father is great in the movie, and also Jamie Lee Curtis in the film, and she's absolutely fantastic. Jamie Lee Curtis isn't in loads of the movie, but when she shows up on screen, she's tuning up the scenery in the best way possible. And the way Jamie Lee Curtis does in films like Knives Out and whatnot, you know, she's tuning up the scenery in the best way possible. And she's kind of like the antagonist of the film, but she's so good to watch. She's not the main antagonist, by the way. She's not the big thing that's trying to, you know, end all the multiverses. She's not the main antagonist, but she's really funny to watch whenever she shows up in the film. And honestly, I really liked it in the end. And also, it's a funny film as well. Like, that can't be understated. I mean, like, I can't tell you how many times I go to watch a comedy at the cinema and I don't actually laugh in the cinema. It's something about me. I just don't really like watching comedy in the cinema because I find it awkward to watch. But I laughed out loud about 5 to 10 times during this movie. I really did, because I did find it funny, which really can't be understated with me. Honestly, I laughed out loud quite a few times in the film, and yeah, I was really happy that I did. And also, like I said before, I utilised the multiverse in fantastic ways. Honestly, this is your multiverse of madness. Not Doctor Strange, this is. This is the multiverse of madness I wanted Doctor Strange to be, but instead, this movie is far superior, and it is just so much fun to watch, but also it's emotional and it's powerful and it's exciting, and the action sequences are really well done, and it's a lot of fun to watch. I really liked it, and it's one of my favourite films of the year. I wouldn't say it is my favourite film of the year, because I do personally still prefer The Northman and The Batman over this movie, but nevertheless, this movie is great. And I can't get over how unique and distinctive and just how weird it was, but just all in the best way possible. Honestly, I had a lot from this movie, and I definitely recommend it. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that Everything Everywhere All at Once, I'm going to say it's an 8.5 out of 10. You know, I rated this film a bit lower than I was intending to there, but the thing is though, you know, when I go watch the movie again, if I like it more, and if it does turn out to be one of my favourite movies of the year when I go watch it a second time, sometime next week, I will do a video on it where I talk about why I absolutely adore it and why I hope it's better. I hope when I go watch it again, I hope I just absolutely love it. But for now, I really like it. But bear in mind, I didn't have the best cinema experience, and bear in mind, I do have some small criticisms. Like, I do think the film was a bit too weird for its own good, and it was a bit of an overwhelming experience as well, because I didn't really know what to expect. And then when you're watching the movie going, wow, this is really not what I expected whatsoever, though I don't really know what I expected, so in the end, I don't really know what I'm saying there, but you get the point I'm trying to make. It was a bit of an overwhelming experience, and so hopefully, when I go watch the film again, I like it a lot more, and hopefully as well, when I go watch the film again, I rate it much higher. Hopefully, I give it like a 9 out of 10 next time, even a 10 out of 10, maybe it's my first 10 out of 10 on the channel when I watch it the second time. But won't know that until next week. But for now, I did really like it, and it was something special, and I think the Daniels are terrific filmmakers, and this is a perfect example of that. And I do think it's an emotional movie as well, which really where it worked for me, and also it's funny to watch as well. It made me laugh out loud in the cinema, and it's got a lot of weird moments, but it kind of works because the film kind of embraces identity and just in the best way, and it was great. It really was. And I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. And I'm surprised by how much it worked me as well. Because I can watch films that I've enjoyed in the past and be like, oh, it's enjoyable. Then I probably won't go back and revisit them, you know, over the next couple of years or whatnot. I probably won't go back and revisit them again. I'll be like, oh, it's enjoyable, nothing more, nothing less. But this film was enjoyable, but it was also emotional, moving, and powerful. And that is why it ultimately worked for me. I believed in the characters. I thought the performance was fantastic. I thought it was funny. I thought it was exciting. I thought it was bonkers. But all just in the best way possible. And it's an odd film, it's a weird film at that, but that's no reason I kind of like it. I like odd movies, and this one is quite odd, but it's also very special, and it is just a one of a kind, but in the best way possible. And so that's why I'm going to say that Everything Everywhere All at Once is a brilliant movie, and that's also why I'm going to say that's an 8.5 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, what do you think of Everything Everywhere All at Once? Please do comment down below and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching. If you haven't yet, please do click down below and like subscribe on this video. And look forward to many more both film and TV reviews coming very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon. Bye bye for now. Bye.